Hello, everyone. You're welcome to this evening session. I intend to make it very brief to stick to the time. And this is also live streaming on YouTube at Lantern CC. That's the channel. So you go to Lantern CC on YouTube and you see it live stream also on that channel. So to begin the session, I want to introduce myself. My name is Eric Kwekumensa, the founder of Lantern Creatives and Consult, for short, Lantern CC. And this is a session that has been put together by Lantern Creatives. And the aim is to ensure that we are able to build ourselves and to be the better versions of ourselves. So I would like you to feel free and let's engage. Those of us who are on the line, you can share the link if you have. You can also prompt people to go to Lantern CC on YouTube to view us live. So I believe you can see the slide, and that is me. When you want to reach me, you can get me on MECGH, also Lantern Creatives. And then also you can email me on mensa.eric.k@gmail.com or lanternconsult@gmail.com. So basically, Lantern Creatives is a digital consulting and event management firm. And what we do is that we are into digital consulting, as in any organization who needs to grow or that needs to grow needs to leverage on technology. And at Lantern CC, we help you leverage on technology to be able to obtain your or get to your optimum operation. Also, we are into podcasting. So this section that we are holding right now would be sent to anchor.fm, would also be streaming, already streaming on Facebook. It's also going to stream on other channels. So that will be made available after the section is done. Then also we are into technology solutions. So think about any technology at all that will help you or your organization digitalize. We are in there to help you out. So that is just a bit about Lantern Creatives. So back to the substantive issue, the courage to start. Now, what motivated me to choose this very topic at this time is because most of us as millennials find it very difficult to start ventures that we want to start. We have very wonderful dreams that we have been dreaming about, visions and very, very lofty dreams, but we are unable to make it materialize. So that is the purpose of this very session. And I'm hoping that by the end of this very session, about 45 minutes, you'll be able to pick something from this very motivational section to make your moves to be able to become the world changer that you've always been dreaming about. So on the slide, you can see a quote by Mark Zuckerberg. He says that ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. This is a very profound statement by Mark Zuckerberg. And those of us who don't know who Mark Zuckerberg is the founder of Facebook. And along the line, I'll be showing you a video of how he started, a video that was taken in 2013. You will see him very, very small at that time. And he started this whole Facebook thing as a campus project. And I bet you now, Facebook has billions of views or billions of accounts. Facebook has bought Instagram, Facebook has bought WhatsApp, and a lot of startups. So we are going to look at some of these great men and how they were able to get the courage to start whatever they wanted to start in life. So once again, I want to prompt you. It's also streaming live on YouTube, Lantern CC, and then also you are on Zoom and you are participating. You can feel free and then type in the chat, and I would be able to answer any question that you throw out. So, how did they make it? I have on the slide some three gentlemen. Some of you might recognize them, some also might not recognize them. But I must say, these guys are the movers and shakers in our world now. You have the one extremely on top being Bill Gates. I just saw his smile. Yes, that is his younger self. And that is the stage that most of us are in now. So that is Bill Gates on top. On the down left corner is Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. That is him down there. He's very young, and I believe his age probably will be like our age now. Then we also have in there Jack Ma. So Jack Ma is the very famous celebrity and a businessman in China, faraway China. I intentionally brought him in because oftentimes when we are talking about great men who have caused change in the world, we are always focused on the Western side, the US, and then the Europe. But Jack Ma broke all odds and then became a very astute businessman, having billions and billions. Some time ago in the life of China, he was the richest person in China. So let's zoom on. How did these people make it? Let me first look at Bill Gates. All of us have heard about Bill Gates, and we know Bill Gates has done this and he has done that, and Microsoft and the rest. It wasn't easy for him at all. Now, way back in 1955, Bill Gates was born, and it was known that he was an argumentative kid. That is a child that always does argument. He could argue and argue and argue. Now, his parents were the type that always encouraged competition in the house. In fact, his father was an astute lawyer. So Bill Gates was sent to school, and as early as the age of 13, Bill Gates started hacking computers. So, in fact, he had to excuse himself from math classes to pursue his programming hobby. He liked to program just at the age of 13. On campus, he met a friend who was also very enthusiastic about programming, Paul Allen. They were so close. Fast forward in school, Bill Gates, because of his nature, he was somebody who was really out of the box kind of student. So he was actually banned from using the computer that the school had because he was just using the computer to do hacking. Now, after he was banned, the school thought it wise that no, this guy or this kid is a very brilliant kid. He had a very rare skills. So the school tasked him to write a program for scheduling students in classes. So Bill Gates took up that job. And funny enough, as guys, usually we say within a cliche that we are kind of, skewed to females. Bill Gates scheduled himself into classes with more girls. In fact, he also started a traffic counter startup, but it failed. From there, it was recorded that Bill Gates actually scored a very high score in his SAT, and he went to Harvard. At Harvard, he was actually torn between becoming a lawyer like his father, because his father was an astute lawyer, and he didn't know which route to take. And I know that is our current state now, where most of us have dreams, we have plans, and we are actually torn between what to really do. That was the state of Bill Gates then. So he was actually reading a magazine and he saw that one computer firm was advertising, and he called this computer firm called Alta and told them that he had a computer language and that he wanted to sell it to them. Meanwhile, at that time, Bill Gates didn't program any computer language. But he called them, he took that bold step to call them, to tell them that, of course, I have some kind of computer program that I want you to buy. So he was called in to come and show his computer program. Bill Gates quickly went ahead and developed a computer program called BASIC. And of course, he went to the firm and sold the program to them. Now, he dropped out of Harvard, like we all have heard about or have read about. He sells the computer program, and then he opened his own firm called Microsoft with his friend called Paul, like I did mention. And these very programs that he was developing, Bill Gates was a visionary. So anytime he develops a program, he doesn't give it solely to, the companies that he sells it to them. He owns the copyright. In fact, he was a workaholic, working 16 hours a day for 5 solid years, till he sold another programming language to IBM. And he once again kept the copyright. So then, our Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, came to Bill Gates and told him that he should develop the software for him. And of course, because Steve Jobs was a very visual man, he told Gates to actually develop something that was very visual, that people or users can see and interact with. So Gates also spent sleepless nights to come up with something that Steve Jobs, that is the owner of Apple, would like. And a very funny thing about Bill Gates is that after he got that proposition from Steve Jobs, he quickly went out to announce that he has developed a software called Windows. He had developed a software called Windows. So, but at that time, he had not actually developed the software, but he just came out boldly that he had developed that software. And fast forward, he went ahead, to develop Windows. And his aim, when you read certain articles, was that he saw a future where everybody had a computer in his or her home that was running the computer software called Windows. And I must tell you right now, as we are all operating, we can hear Windows all across the world. That was a vision that was started by Bill Gates. He had the courage to start. And wonderfully, at the age of 31, Bill Gates became the youngest ever billionaire in the world. And it went on, and we can all attest to the fact that there are a lot of Bill Gates products out there. Let me talk briefly about one man also, Jeff Bezos, because we are talking about the courage to start. And I thought it wise to bring out these great men who are billionaires and have changed the world with their small beginnings. So Jeff Bezos, we all know, is a founder of Amazon. Amazon is a site where you go and buy things and then you get the product shipped to you. Jeff Bezos actually was born by some teenagers. His father was 18 years, his mother was 16 years old. And he was born in 1964. In fact, his father actually was always drunk, and eventually his mother divorced his father. After that, his mother actually married another man, Mr. Bezos. At the age of 11, Jeff Bezos actually watched Apollo 11 land on the moon. That was when there was the first rocket that was launched on the moon. And he told himself that he wanted to be an astronaut. And let me tell you right now, as we speak, Jeff Bezos actually has a rocket company. All this began when he was 11 years old. Yes, you have the dream and you must start something. That was what Jeff Bezos did. In fact, fast forward, he was a very smart kid and he did a lot of stuffs with books. But most importantly, Jeff Bezos wanted to start a company. Now, this is something that we can all identify with. He wanted to start a company, but he was held back. So he joined a startup that is an already existing business. In that business, he was working. Then he had the vim, like the cliche we say. Vim means that he had enthusiasm to start another business, the business that he has been thinking about. He wanted to start the business, and once again, like we can all identify ourselves with, he relented. Then he applied for another job, someone already an existing job. He went there and he was working again. Then he finally gathered the courage to start some fax newsletter startup in his spare time whilst he was working. But he failed to raise some money to, raise the business. So that business really collapsed. He married and he saw that the internet was growing and wanted to seize the opportunity to open a commerce site where you could sell things online. Those times selling things online was illegal, but he wanted to find a way. And as it stands now, you can sell things online. Yes, people like Jeff Bezos and co started some time ago. So he started by selling books. And let me tell you one secret. What was happening was that he set up his firm selling books online, and the prices of the books that he was selling online was cheaper than some of the books that they were selling in the physical stores. And he had to also ship these books to those who buy it online. And as smart as he was in the US, California. And back then, California always gave a lot of tax when it comes to shipping and purchasing online. So he quickly went to Seattle to set up his business over there so that there will not be tax obligations on him. So fast forward, Jeff Bezos was able to, counter his fears to set up the e-commerce site that has now grown to be gaining billions and billions and billions of monies, which is Amazon, which we can all see online. Our lives are just basically like Jeff Bezos' life. There are a lot and countless examples I can give about Jeff Bezos. He also started all these things with a garage and his wife and just two programmers. You are having dreams. You're having very, very wonderful dreams that sometimes you think about and you're like, this dream I can do this. But you don't see yourself pushing yourself to do it. This is the time that you would have to wake up and do it. The world is waiting on you. Like Jeff Bezos dreamt, and he took up the challenge to pursue his dreams. All the dreams that he had pursued it, and now he has a lot of wealth, and he's serving humanity. Let me just talk last about one young kid who was in China, Jack Ma. Yes, you see his face? This man was from a very poor family. In fact, he started life by working freely in an international hotel. And do you know what Jack Ma did? Working within this international hotel, he didn't take any money. His vision was that he wanted to learn how to speak English because he was staying in China and he could speak only the Chinese language. So anytime he was with the tourists who come to stay in the hotel, he was practicing English with them. And that was how he lived his life, to the extent that he actually became very close friends with one foreigner who actually was calling him Jack. So you see, his name originally was not called Jack Ma. He was called Mayong. But because this friend nicknamed him Jack, so he had to change his name to become Jack Ma. In fact, he failed 3 times in the university entrance exams. And after the 3rd time, he got admitted. He was a teacher. He did his first degree, BA, in English in 1988. In fact, after he completed school, his struggles didn't end there. He got rejected from 30 different jobs. All the jobs he went to, he goes for an interview, people are employed, only him, he wasn't employed. His woes were always becoming worse. Even KFC, Jack Ma applied to work at KFC, where they sell chicken. We all know about KFC. He applied, and out of 24 people who applied for the job, 23 got the job at KFC, and only Jack Ma didn't get the job. He was rejected. He actually applied for school at Harvard University again. Yet still, he failed. 10 solid times Jack Ma failed. But he didn't lose courage. He was pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. He got a job at a university in China, and funny enough, Jack Ma was paid $12 per month. Convert that to your local currency. We are in Ghana here. Lantern Creatives is headquartered in Ghana. Those of us watching across the globe, Jack Ma got employed at the university in China. He was paid $12 per month. How many of us would take up such a job after going to university? So Jack Ma took the bold step, traveled to the US, and he and his friends got introduced to the internet. We are talking about courage to start. Okay, so he got introduced to the internet. The first thing that Jack Ma used to check on the internet was the word beer. And in fact, he saw that there was no search coming out from China. And he was like, no, this can't be happening. That means that China was not on the internet as at then. So he had the conviction that no, he has to go back to China and set up the internet in China. So fast forward, he went there, launched the website and all those things. And like we speak now, Jack Ma was able to stand against all odds, had the courage to start, even after several failures, after several rejections from university to university, from institution to institutions, he was not employed. He was facing a lot of rejection from a poor background. He faced the courage to start something for himself. And as we speak now, Jack Ma has billions and billions and billions. He's touching a lot of lives in China. He has foundations across the globe. That is Jack Ma for you. What is your own life for the world? You have wonderful and lofty dreams. You have wonderful plans and you want to do this and you want to do that. You can be the next Jeff Bezos. You can be the next Jack Ma. You can be the next Bill Gates. You can be the next Mark Zuckerberg. There are a lot of stuff I can say about these people. But I want to say one profound thing. That is this words of wisdom. And it says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. In fact, you have your dreams and you want to become the best teacher in the world. You want to be on the World Nobel Peace Prize. You want to do this, you want to do that. You can't stand up and just do it all at once. You must start from somewhere. That brings me to a very profound statement from Mark Zuckerberg. And it says that if I had to understand everything about connecting people before I began, I never would have started Facebook. I repeat again. He says that if I had to understand everything about connecting people before I began, he's talking about Facebook. If he had to understand everything, if you have to understand everything about the business you want to open before you open the business, then you can't open that business, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know everything and have all the resources before you start that business that you have been dreaming of starting, then you won't start that business. And this is clearly articulated by Mark Zuckerberg. And I repeat his statement again. If I had to understand everything about connecting people before I began Facebook, I never would have started Facebook. Maybe you want to open a restaurant. You might not have had a lot of money to rent a very big edifice to line all the greatest chefs to open the restaurant. You have to start from somewhere. That is all I am talking about. You want to be a professor, you have to start from somewhere. You want to be a doctor, you have to start from somewhere. Whatever venture you want to go into, you have to start from somewhere. Don't wait till you say you have everything under control before you start in. What holds us back? This is something that I'm really going to talk about because, let me check my time. Yes, I got some about 15 minutes to end the section. And I hope you are picking something from it. There are fundamental things that hold us for us not to reach the goals that we want to get to. And the first thing is self-doubt. Tell yourself self-doubt. Tell yourself fear. Yes, self-doubt. You think somewhere in your heart you can't. Yes, that is what is holding you back. Somewhere deep down in your mind, in your heart, You are telling yourself you cannot. That is why you are not taking that bold step. You have a company in mind to open. You have a startup to do. But deep down in yourself, you don't believe in yourself. And I want to encourage you this evening that believe in yourself. You can make it. That is how everybody began. Apple began in a garage. But now see where Apple is. Bill Gates started somewhere. He gathered his friends. See where Bill Gates is. Jack Ma actually gathered about 17 of his friends together and they started their company. You can gather a friend or two. Don't doubt yourself. You have that power in you to do what you are dreaming of doing. Yes, I am talking to you watching. You have that power. Self-doubt has eaten you up too much. And I want to encourage you, no. Say no to fear. Break boundaries. From now, today, being the 13th of February, 2022, break that fear. And I want you to break that fear. Don't doubt yourself. God has embedded in you that power to be able to bring out that dream. That is why, first of all, that dream came into your mind. You wouldn't have been able to do it if you had not gotten that dream. So as far as that dream has occurred to you, it means that it is possible you can do it. And the world is waiting on you to do it. Another critical thing that holds us, all of us back, is what would people think? Yes, that is what is preventing us from starting the dreams that we all have. What would people think about us? Perhaps you are doing a job. You have started something and you really want to, do this, you want to get in, you want to do this, you want to do that. But you are asking yourself, what if I quit my job? What would people think? Let me tell you something. For Jeff Bezos, there's one critical thing I read about him. In fact, the year he left, the second job he started, he was due for a bonus at the end of the year, and he was paid big time. If we were to be us now, we will be thinking, hey, this is the job that is giving me money. How then will I leave this job to go and start my own company? Why would I leave this job? There's a bonus coming. There's some money coming from somewhere. And me leaving this job? No, I won't. And that is what is going through your mind. You are thinking, what will people think? Of course, for Bill Gates and co, they also had that challenge. What would their parents think? That you have a job and you're doing your job and you want to quit and start your own company? You want to quit and do this and do that? No, don't do that. That is what will be going through your head. Sometimes you want to even start the job, you want to start a company, you want to start a business on your own, and you are telling yourself that there's a company already doing it. There's an institution already doing it. Yes, there are companies that are always doing the businesses that you want to do, but you can start your business and grow bigger and bigger than them. That is why we have something called the perfect competitive market. You go to the market, typically in Ghana, Accra, there's a market called Agbogbloshie Market. And in that market, you would see a lot of sellers. If it's onion that they are selling, you will see tens of onion sellers line up and they are all selling their wares. Yes, it is the same onion, but everybody believes that they have a unique selling proposition to give to the world or to give to the buyer. So they sit in. So as you are seated in there, please don't think about what people will think about you. No. Again, I will talk about something that Jeff Bezos said to himself. He gave a framework for himself, and he said that regret minimization framework. Say after me, regret minimization framework. Now, he told himself that by the time he would be 80 years old, would there be things that he will regret not doing? Ask yourself. The business idea you have right now, if you don't pursue it and you get to about 60, 70, 80 years old, will you ever regret not doing it? Put yourself in that shoe from now. And if your answer is yes, I will regret that I didn't start this business, then it is a crying call to you that you start the business. You have to have that courage to confront your fears. What would people think? Yes, people are not you. You own your own future. The world is waiting for you. They are not waiting for those people that are thinking about you. And that is what I encourage you to do. Now, when you're watching, please, you can share the link. It's also streaming live on Facebook at Lantern CC. Go to the channel Lantern CC and you see it stream live. That is what is happening. This section is the time with self section, and it is meant to groom us to actually grow the next billionaires, to grow the mindsets of the next millionaires, the next business tycoons, the next world changers. That is why this time with self webinar series has been launched. So you have to follow through so that you are able to achieve those dreams. So back to the slide. What would people think? That is a statement I want you right now watching to take off your mind. If you are broke, you are going to suffer alone. Somebody is actually suffering just because they are waiting for you to become blossom for them to benefit from you. So never sleep on your dreams. The last but not the least, imposter syndrome. We tell ourselves that we are unworthy to pursue that dream. This is a terminology, imposter syndrome, and all of us have actually felt this thing one way or the other. You are doing something and you are doubting yourself. You are telling yourself, hey, I am not worthy to be doing this. I don't have the qualifications to do it. Who told you don't have the qualifications to do it? Those who are doing it out there, do you think they have all the certificates? Do you think they have all the know-how? No, they do not have all the know-how. They do not have all the knowledge about that business, but they are pursuing and they are succeeding. So whatever business venture you want to start, don't wait. Start now. Take that very little first step. Take that very little first step. And I bet you would be able to do and touch the world. On the slide, I have actually put the globe on the slide. And it will be appearing soon. Now, I've put a small dot on the country called Ghana. That is where Lantern CC is based. And this is just the whole world. And imagine yourself having a lot of impact in the whole world. Coming from a small country called Ghana with about 33 million people in the country, a third world country. Yes, it can be possible if you begin that first single step of yours. Have that courage to begin that first single step. I know of someone who actually is into the sales of electronic gadgets, And this person just started by spending 100 Ghana cedis to purchase one item online. And he then sold the item. And fast forward now, he buys a lot of goods for selling and for distribution. That can be your story too. Now, to gather the first courage to start, you have to identify your strengths. We all have strengths. We all have strengths. Maybe you have not sat down to think about your strengths, but we all have strengths. Some of you are very innovative. Some of you are very creative. Some of you are able to speak very well. Some of you are able to convince well. Some of you are able to persuade people. Some of you are able to, settle disputes. All these are strengths. And for you to make it in life, you would have to leverage on your strengths to be able to make it in life. Sometime during the time with self series, I will talk about making a SWOT analysis about your own self. So stay tuned, like our YouTube channel, Lantern CC. Follow our pages on Facebook, Lantern Consults. Follow us on IG, Lantern CC. Follow us on Twitter, Lantern CC. And you will get a lot of these tips. So identify your strength and take that first bold step. Like I have said, you don't need to see the first, or you don't need to see the full staircase before you start climbing. Just take the first step. Examine different scenarios. If it's a business you want to do, examine different scenarios and go for the one that best suits you. Also, practice leaving your comfort zones. We all have our comfort zones. And I must say that anytime you want to leave your comfort zone, you feel very uncomfortable. You feel extremely pressured. Now, when you want to do something and you are so uncomfortable, it is a sign that you are leaving your comfort zone. So I would want to advise, practice leaving your comfort zone. If it is network that you don't know how to network, then I will tell you that master that courage. Speak to people when you meet them. Some of us meet a lot of people. Please master that courage and leave your comfort zone. Leave your comfort zone. Wake up from your comfort zone if you want to make it in life. Reduce stress on yourself. Reduce stress on yourself. Then, most importantly, celebrate courageous actions. Celebrate courageous actions. So anytime you start, and I know that after the end of this very webinar session, you are going to start something. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or you are in the Zoom, you are going to start something. And let me give you a piece of advice. For you to be able to keep that momentum, to be able to keep that motivation, celebrate every courageous action you take. Anytime you succeed in one little thing, be so happy. If it is even jubilation, you have to jubilate, or you buy a champagne for yourself. Buy a champagne for yourself for breaking one comfort zone, for taking one courageous action. That is key. Now, the final thing on the slide, then I'll open the chance for questions, is to welcome failure. Ladies and gentlemen, don't expect it to be smooth. When you start a business, when you start your dream, there will be failures and there will be hard times on your way. But it doesn't tell you to stop. Now, if you have the mindset that you are going to welcome failure and failure is always going to hit you on the face, you are able to build that strength to counter failure. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Keep sticking to it. And I tell you, you will master your craft. To start, like I am doing. If it's a vlog, if it's a blog, or anything that you want to do, keep doing it. When you start at first, it might not be perfect, but as you continue, you will get it in a very perfect fashion. So, welcome failure. And let me tell you, have that huge courage to start. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is this for the day. I want to open the floor for you to ask questions, the courage to start. And before you even start asking your questions, this very portal has been opened. I need a few people to join me. Let's put it to a try for the year. We are in February, the second month of the year. And let me tell you, that dream that you want to pursue, that thing that you have in mind that you want to do, just go ahead. Let's start it together. You can contact me at Lantern Consults. You can send me an email, mensa.eric.k@gmail. You can also hit me up on Facebook. You can also send an email to lanternconsults@gmail.com. Let's speak, let's talk, let's build a community, and let's put ourselves to a challenge. Okay, so by the end of the year, see where you will get to. One thing that a lot of people don't have benefit to is having accountability partners. And I have come up to tell you, I want to be your accountability partner. Lantern CC want to be your accountability partner. And feel free, join, and let's sail through. Gather that first courage. Sometimes when you want to start alone, you are scared, you are afraid. Now you have a community that would be a support to you. So feel free. Let's connect and then build an empire and touch the world together. Thank you very much for joining today's Time with Self webinar series. Once again, I am Eric Kwekumensa, the founder of Lantern Creatives and Consults, Lantern CC for short. Thank you. The floor is open for questions. Okay, so I have someone, Abednego.
Yeah. Good afternoon. And I want to say thank you for presentation. Though I came in late, but with your present, you talk about examining different scenario. I want to get that concept. How do you examine different scenarios?
Very well.
I really want to get that.
Thank you very much for your question. So, like we are all watching on Zoom now, I want to say that it's also being streamed live on YouTube. So feel free at your leisure time, you can go back and then play what is on YouTube and watch from the beginning. Now, on your substantive question, examining different scenarios. Now, there are people who can leave their current jobs and start a company on their own. There are also people who can't afford to do that because they are the breadwinners of their homes. And when they quit their current jobs, there won't be food for their families. So In such a scenario, you would have to find a way to marry doing your current job, which is an 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 job. Then the rest of the 8 hours that you have at your disposal, you use it to do something on your own, perhaps burn the midnight candle. So that is one scenario that you can look at. Instead of quitting your job currently, you can do it as a side hustle so that at the end of the day, you can be able to build something. And as the business grows, you can leave your job. But there are people who are able to just move in ahead quickly to start and quit their current jobs. Talking about even finance scenario, sometimes there is a job or there's a dream you have, and you can weigh options. Either getting funding from your family, and some families can be very helpful. I recall there are some big businessmen who actually started their business because they got funding from their family. If you are somebody who can get funding from your immediate family, you can reach out to a venture capitalist, or you can reach out to a bank, or you can reach out to people who can buy into your vision. So the courage to start, you have to look at all these different scenarios, even where to begin your business. I gave a typical scenario where somebody would want to start a restaurant business. But of course, you have the dream to have a very huge business, but you don't have the money to rent a big area to put your wares to start that business. So then you can start on a very smaller scale so that at the end of the day you can upscale. You can be an IT person where you want to develop a software. You can choose to develop a software and sell it out to people. They buy, you become rich, you set up another company. So there are several scenarios. There are countless scenarios which I can't exhaust all on this one section. But like I did say, I am available to be contacted, and then we can share specific scenarios based on the dreams that you have. So I hope I have answered you some way, somehow, and thank you very much for your question. The floor is open for further questions.
Right. Thank you very much.
The floor is open for questions. Okay, so if there is no further question, I want to end the section here, and the word for you is ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Eric.
Yes, sir.
Actually, someone sent a question to the chat
Okay.
that we have to necessarily register the startup before starting. That was what someone sent to the
Okay.
chat forum. I don't know if you can cross check.
Okay. Let me just, very good. Thank you very much. So, do you necessarily have to register the startup? Now, I don't know which country we are speaking from, and it is country specific. The fact is that usually you would have to follow the country's laws and the country's statutes. Sometimes you can start from your bedroom or from your hall. The fact is that you might not have your business fully registered when you want to start your business, but you can start some way, somehow. But bear in mind that when you start issuing invoices, you start issuing proformers and the rest, and the country's law enforcement gets you, you might be in trouble. So my advice is that gather some monies, starve yourself a day or two, and start the process to register your company. In fact, one very motivating factor is that when you register your company, it gives you that energy and that zeal and that motivation to press on. And when you move to do something, you know that you have the backing of the state. Because I mentioned that sometimes you have to go and look at raising funds from venture capitalists and the rest. Yes, these people will ask you whether your company is registered. So to be on the safer side, I would advise that gather some few monies, go to your state's registry company in Ghana here, where Lantern CC is operating from. We have the Registrar General's Department, and you pay a few dollars or few cedis to get your company registered. And I bet you the fulfillment in registering your company alone will propel you to push and do more and more and reach out to even the diaspora or the international audience. So that is the advice I would give to you. Thank you very much. Any other question? Okay, so there's a question also. Is this advisable for a startup or to start up something with a financial loan from an institution if you don't have the means? Now, this is a very dicey question. Now, in this world, we have people who are risk takers, okay, who are risk takers. And depending on your risk appetite and the kind of business you are going into, I would have to speak with you one-on-one to be able to examine the kind of business you want to go into, and then the kind of loan you want to go and take, and perhaps the interest that is on that particular loan. There are some loans that have very little interest rate. When you look at your business and you look at the inflows that you would get and just suppose it with the interest that you'll be paying, you can look at that from that perspective and then make a decision for yourself. So it is not an outright yes or a no. Okay, but of course, the advice is that go for something that is very cheap. Like I mentioned, family and friends might give you loans because they might be very lenient and charge you on a very lower rate. If you want to go to a financial institution, also get to a financial institution that will give you a rate that is something that you can really turn yourself around with to be able to pay them. Otherwise, you end up living in debt and be going for loans to settle debt, and you never ever end that cycle of paying debt. So thank you very much for your question, Ray Gomez. Any further question? So like I did mention, this is streaming live on YouTube, Lantern CC. So at your leisure time, you can go to Lantern CC on YouTube and review the video. You can share also and help us grow. I have said that we are here to help each other. So from now, February to December, those of us who have started the journey, please link up. Let's see how to build something for yourself. Once again, it is the courage to start. The journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. And please have that courage to begin that step. Thank you very much.